It's a common myth that motivation comes before action. In reality, the Stoics and modern psychologists agree that action precedes motivation. You don't get moving because you're inspired. You get inspired because you started moving. For example, forcing yourself to exercise when you don't feel like it often leads to energy and inspiration a few minutes in, as your body and mind respond to the activity. The Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius understood this well. At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, he advised telling yourself, "I have to go to work," as a human being. In other words, don't wait until you feel ready. Start doing your duty, and motivation will follow. Modern research backs this up. Taking even a small step breaks the cycle of procrastination and builds momentum. By striking the first spark of action, you ignite the fire of motivation. And once in motion, that momentum can carry over into all areas of life. One productive act in the morning often boosts focus and energy for the rest of the day. Discipline over emotion. The Stoics taught that we must not be slaves to our moods. "No man is free who is not master of himself," wrote Epictetus. If you only work on your goals when you feel like it, progress will be rare and inconsistent. Discipline means doing what needs to be done regardless of feelings. Top athletes train on days they feel flat because they know consistency yields results. Marcus Aurelius put it bluntly, "If it is endurable, then endure it." Stop complaining. Instead of making excuses, "I'm too tired, I'm not in the mood," a disciplined person acts anyway. Ironically, over time, this steadfast action reshapes your emotions. You begin to enjoy the process and take pride in your resilience. In Stoic terms, enduring short-term discomfort leads to long-term freedom, freedom from being tossed around by every whim or hardship. Modern voices echo this. Motivation is unreliable and fleeting, but habits built by discipline are unshakable. Every time you choose discipline over mood, you strengthen the muscle of self-mastery. You prove Epictetus right. By mastering yourself, you gain true freedom. Build self-respect through action. Real confidence and self-respect are earned, not spoken. The Stoics believed that what matters most is how you act when no one is watching. Epictetus advised, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid," meaning you must be willing to look bad or incur others' disapproval in the short term while you do what's right for you. Each time you keep a promise to yourself, wake up early as planned, finish that chapter, stick to your budget, you send your brain a signal that you are trustworthy. Conversely, every time you break a commitment to yourself, you erode that trust. Over time, a person who consistently acts with integrity builds an unshakable self-respect. Seneca argued that we should value our own opinion of ourselves above the opinion of others. In practical terms, taking action, even small actions, toward your goals each day is laying down bricks of confidence. Psychology research agrees that confidence grows from achievement, even minor wins, rather than empty affirmations. And once you truly respect yourself, you stop needing external approval. You carry that quiet confidence that others can sense. This is why Stoics like Epictetus said we should never be content with inaction in private life. Every action is a vote for the type of person you want to be, and by consistently voting in favor of your best self, you build an identity and self-respect that no one can take away. Consistency over intensity. True progress is the product of consistent effort, not one-time bursts of intensity. It's tempting to think a massive push, a 5-hour workout or an all-nighter study session will transform you. But the Stoics and modern habit experts caution otherwise. Marcus Aurelius urged us not to waste time pondering what a good man is, just be one, daily. In other words, focus on steady daily actions rather than grand ideals. A person who exercises moderately 3 times a week for a year will inevitably outperform someone who trains like a fanatic for 1 month, then quits. We see this in research on habit formation. Small habits repeated consistently compound over time, much like interest on money. Author James Clear notes, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Consistency builds momentum and ingrains habits into your routine. By contrast, intensity without consistency leads to burnout and disappointment. The Stoics lived by routine. They practiced their philosophy daily, through morning reflections and nightly reviews. They understood that character is shaped in the mundane repetition of virtuous acts. While passion may ignite change, only persistence sustains it. So, it's far better to start small and remain consistent. Write 200 words every day rather than 2,000 words once in a blue moon, as modern productivity advice echoes. Over time, those small daily efforts snowball into extraordinary results. The identity of a doer forms, and with it comes an internal ease. What was once effort becomes second nature. Consistency, then, is a superpower. It may feel unglamorous in the moment, but it achieves what intensity alone never could. Pain is growth. The Stoics did not seek out pain, but they embraced the reality that growth requires discomfort. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body, wrote Seneca. When you lift weights, your muscles must strain and tear in order to rebuild stronger. Likewise, mental and spiritual resilience grow when we face challenges head-on. In Stoic theory, every obstacle is an opportunity to practice virtue, courage, patience, wisdom. Seneca's essay on providence argues that a good person is tested by trials, so they can become stronger and prove their virtue, much as fire tempers steel. Modern psychology also recognizes the concept of post-traumatic growth. Adversity can lead to greater strength, perspective, and appreciation of life. By doing what is hard or uncomfortable, you expand your limits. For example, forcing yourself to have that tough conversation or to persist one more hour on a tedious project increases your threshold for hardship. The next time it won't seem so bad. Avoiding all pain, on the other hand, leads to stagnation and fragility. Stoics like Epictetus even used physical hardships, walking barefoot in winter, for instance, as training for the mind, to learn that they could endure more than they thought and to remain calm under duress. Life will bring pain regardless. Stoicism teaches us to use it rather than run from it. Each time you endure and persevere, you earn a bit of pride and confidence. You can look back and say, I survived this, I grew from this. In the words of a much later philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, what does not kill me makes me stronger. The Stoics would agree, pain is not the enemy, it is the teacher that molds you into a more capable person. Don't depend on motivation. Motivation is a fickle friend. It comes and goes as it pleases. Relying on feeling motivated is a recipe for inconsistency. Marcus Aurelius observed that external events, like mood or weather, are beyond our control, but our mind and choices are under our power. Modern writers likewise emphasize building systems and habits, so you can act even when motivation is absent. Productivity author Jeff Hayden put it this way: you feel motivated because you took action. Motivation is a result, not a precondition. In practice, this means designing your routine so that important behaviors are automatic. For instance, if you commit to writing every day at 7 a.m., eventually you'll sit and write at 7 a.m., regardless of whether you woke up inspired or not. The Stoics approached life like a soldier drilling daily. Rain or shine, motivated or unmotivated, they followed their principles. Epictetus is famous for teaching the importance of focusing on what is within our control, our will, our actions, and letting go of what isn't, our feelings, others' opinions. By depending on discipline, not motivation, you create a stable foundation that doesn't sway with each emotional gust. In practical terms, this might mean laying out your workout clothes the night before and exercising every weekday as a rule. No internal debate each morning about whether you feel like it. It might mean using tools like calendars, reminders, and accountability partners to keep you on track. When motivation is present, consider it a bonus. When it's not, you'll carry on regardless. This approach yields far more progress over time than waiting for inspiration to strike. As one fitness writer quipped, "Discipline is built, motivation is fleeting." The Stoic hero is the one who keeps moving forward even on the dull and difficult days, because those days, more than any others, prove your commitment. Destroy the all-or-nothing trap. One mental trap that derails progress is perfectionism, the all-or-nothing mindset. It whispers, "If I can't do it perfectly or do it all, I might as well do nothing." The Stoics, ever pragmatic, would counsel us to just get started with what we have, where we are. Marcus Aurelius warned, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." In other words, don't endlessly postpone taking action waiting for ideal conditions. Life is short and uncertain. Something is always better than nothing. If you planned a 60-minute workout but only have 15 minutes, doing 15 minutes is infinitely better than giving up. Contemporary psychology agrees that breaking tasks into small, manageable chunks can overcome procrastination and perfectionism. As productivity experts often say, done is better than perfect. Taking imperfect action not only yields partial results immediately, it also builds confidence and momentum, whereas doing nothing builds nothing. The Stoic mindset is to focus on what you can do right now. If you cannot run due to injury, you walk. If you cannot write a full chapter, you write a paragraph. Epictetus is quoted as saying, "First learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak." A metaphor in our context for first making a small effort before worrying about grand execution. By consistently making small advances, you actually accelerate toward your goal, whereas waiting for the perfect moment leaves you eternally stuck at the start line. Remember that history's great works, books, businesses, bodies of art, were built piece by piece. The Stoics achieved their wisdom through daily practices and incremental improvements, not overnight miracles. So if you catch yourself thinking all or nothing, choose something. Each modest step forward beats standing still, and over time those steps add up to leaps. Action builds identity. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do, Epictetus advised. This Stoic truth highlights that our identity is shaped by our actions. If you want to become a disciplined person, each disciplined act is a vote for that identity. Conversely, every time you shirk, you reinforce the identity of someone who quits. Modern behavioral science echoes this idea. James Clear, for instance, emphasizes that every habit is an evidence of your desired identity, e.g., exercising today is evidence that I am fit, and these votes accumulate until the identity sticks. Initially, forcing yourself to act feels difficult precisely because you haven't yet seen yourself as that kind of person. But with each repetition, that self-image starts to shift. The Stoics were very much about practice. Marcus Aurelius didn't call himself wise or just, he practiced wisdom and justice daily, and in doing so became one of history's exemplars of those traits. When you consistently take action, you earn the right to consider yourself capable and committed. For example, write every day, and soon you won't just say you're an aspiring writer. You'll see yourself as a writer, period. Go to the gym regularly, and you'll internalize that you are a fit, healthy person. This matters because once an identity is firmly established, acting in alignment with it becomes much easier. It's no longer a struggle to do the thing. It's simply what you do because it's who you are. This is what Epictetus meant. Decide who you aim to be and act accordingly, and in time, you are that person. Thus, every action is double effective. It achieves something in the moment and also casts a vote for your character. Over many votes, the balance tips. You'll find one day that you love exercising or need to write, because not doing so would contradict your sense of self. That is the power of action to reshape identity. Respect through structure. Chaotic living undermines both self-respect and respect from others. The Stoics valued order in the cosmos and in one's daily life. They often kept schedules for study, reflection, exercise, and rest. Having structure in your day is a sign that you value your time and purpose. For instance, if you set a rule that each morning from 6 to 7 a.m. is devoted to your personal goal, be it fitness, learning, or a project, and you honor that appointment consistently, you demonstrate integrity to yourself. Over time, you trust yourself to follow through. Moreover, others start to respect your time as well, since you clearly do. Seneca wrote letters advising that we must balance our time and not squander it, essentially encouraging a structured approach to one's day. Modern productivity wisdom also emphasizes routines. Having set blocks for important activities reduces decision fatigue and procrastination. By designing your environment and schedule, you remove temptation and excuse. For example, if you know you always study at the library from 3 to 5 p.m., you won't be as prone to distractions during that time. It's forged into your routine. Structure paradoxically brings freedom. Instead of chaos dictating your day and leaving you feeling behind and anxious, your deliberate framework ensures the crucial things get done, after which you truly relax. The Stoic Musonius Rufus even recommended specific daily regimens for students of philosophy, including times for reading, reflection, and honest work, showing that a disciplined schedule was central to a virtuous life. When you live by a structure aligned with your values, you gain confidence and self-respect because your life is in order. Others see that and are more likely to respect you and your boundaries. In short, your schedule is a statement of what you value, and sticking to it proves that you take yourself seriously. As Marcus Aurelius showed in his own writings, consistency in one's pattern of living is a reflection of consistency of character. Success is built in silence. We often picture success as glamorous and public, the awards, the recognition. But the Stoics remind us that true success is forged when no one is watching. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." The work that truly matters is usually quiet and unacknowledged. The early morning practice, the long hours of study, the thousands of code lines written or miles trained with no audience. By forcing yourself to act every day, you accumulate an edge in silence that will show up when it counts. This idea also protects you from the ego's desire for constant validation. If you can be content to grind without immediate reward, you are immune to one of the biggest obstacles to excellence, the need for praise. Stoic heroes like Marcus Aurelius wrote their deepest insights in a private journal, his Meditations, not for fame, but to train themselves. He explicitly told himself not to be tempted by worldly applause, but to keep improving in private. In practical terms, this means focusing on the process, not broadcasting every effort on social media. It means finding satisfaction in the act of doing, rather than in others' recognition of what you've done. Interestingly, modern research on skill mastery in sports, arts, etc., finds that deliberate practice, the tedious, focused, silent repetition, is what separates the great from the rest. There's a common saying, "Work hard in silence, let success make the noise." The Stoics would agree. When you do finally achieve a goal, people might label it overnight success, but you will know the years of quiet effort that built the foundation, and because you didn't depend on external praise along the way, you stay humble and hungry even after success. This prevents complacency. The Stoic ideal is a person who is the same in fame or obscurity, because they care about the work itself, not the noise around it. By enforcing daily action away from the spotlight, you are practicing success in the dark. Eventually, the results will speak loudly for themselves, and by then, your character will be strong enough to handle recognition without letting it weaken your work ethic. Live by action, not excuses. The Stoics taught that life is not measured by what we intend or promise, but by what we consistently do. Every day, we face the choice to either move forward or stay stagnant. Waiting for the perfect mood or moment is a path of endless delays. As the saying goes, tomorrow never comes if you keep waiting for it. Instead, the Stoic approach is to start now with whatever you have. Even if the step is small or the outcome uncertain, by taking action, you set change in motion. This habit of decisive action repeated daily builds all the qualities discussed: motivation, discipline, confidence, resilience, and more. Importantly, these truths are not just motivation for motivation's sake. They are grounded in philosophy and reality, not hype. We can see that by citing both ancient wisdom and modern evidence for each point. In the end, the strongest version of you is indeed the one who acts when it's hard, not just when it's easy. As Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius have shown us, character is the cumulative result of daily actions. So don't wait. As Aurelius wrote, "While you live, while it is in your power, be good." In modern terms, do what must be done now. By living this way, you'll earn the discipline, success, and self-respect that no amount of dreaming or talking could ever bring. Yes, these principles truly reflect Stoic wisdom and practical reality. No, there's nothing mystical required, no special talent or inspiration, just the courage to take the first step, right now, and another tomorrow, and so on every day. The Stoics proved that a life of action is a life of greatness, and that is a path open to all of us. Every day is a battlefield between comfort and growth, between excuses and action. The Stoics knew this truth centuries ago, and now it's your turn to live it. Do not wait for the perfect moment. Do not wait for motivation. Build your life through action, step by step, choice by choice, until discipline becomes your second nature. If this message spoke to you, don't let it fade away like another forgotten thought. Act on it now. Subscribe to be Stoic, join this community of modern Stoics, and keep training your mind and spirit with the wisdom in our other videos. Because in the end, philosophy means nothing if it's not lived. So live it. Be disciplined, be unshakable, be Stoic.